Listen up, my health freedom loving friends. This is Misty Gardner Karlfeld with Health Freedom Idaho, and I am all fired up today. You know that we've all been working hard around the U.S. to educate people about what to do if CPS shows up at your door, because they cross the line continually. They bully and harass parents continually into giving up their 4th and 14th Amendment rights. And I have an example here today from medicalkidnap.com, and I'm going to break down this article for you, because this is absurd, what has happened to this family. This is in Kentucky, and the parents, Josiah and Holly Curry, they have 6 children. Holly was taking her 5-year-old to karate practice and needed to pick up some muffins on her way. Now, she left all 6 children in the car. While she ran in, the police detained her and reported her to CPS. So, listen, I was brought up in the age where people left kids in the car all the time. We are no longer in that age, because people will report you to CPS for doing that. It's risky, for sure. Back when I was a kid, my mom left me in the car for everything. And remember, you couldn't pay at the pump for gas. So she'd leave me in the car and go pay for gas. And that was kind of the common thing back then, but that is no longer acceptable. I mean, crime is higher, child trafficking is higher, child sex crimes are higher. So it really isn't safe. However, is it something that we need to call CPS for? I don't know. But everybody in Idaho is a mandatory reporter. Those laws vary from state to state, and I think that this is a law that really needs changed in Idaho, because it puts the burden on every citizen to decide whether something is neglect or abuse. So if someone in Idaho, this is in Kentucky, but let's just take an Idaho scenario, were to see a parent go into the store and leave the children in the car and feel like that's neglect, then they actually have a responsibility, a statutory responsibility to call. So somebody called and the police showed up and they were reported to CPS. The next day, a social worker appeared at the family house demanding to enter the home and inspect it and also check on the children. Holly, well versed in her constitutional rights and understanding that she did not have to let the social worker in without a court order signed by a judge, offered to bring all the children to the door to the social worker could see them, but refused to let the social worker enter the home. No, 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 no. Do not bring your children to the door. If she really understood her constitutional rights, she would have said, "You are trespassing. Please get off my property. My children are happy, healthy, and well. Please get off my property." That's not what she did. She allowed them to lay eyes on her children. Don't do that. She stood her ground. Okay, the social worker threatened her and stated she would return with police if Holly did not let her in. She stood her ground. Good. She stood her ground, even after parading her children. Don't do that. And then later, the social worker returned with the sheriff deputy, but no warrant. That's the key. No warrant. Threatening to take all the children away by force if she did not let them in, and she finally complied. Now, I am not blaming this mom. I'm sure she was terrified, as we all would be. But you need to understand your constitutional rights. If you allow them in, you've then given up your 4th Amendment right to unreasonable search and seizure. So she gave up that right by letting them in, because she was bullied. She was bullied. They didn't have a warrant. They had no business coming into her home. She needed to say again, "You are trespassing. Please get off my property," and shut the door and call an attorney. Now, that's what I would do. I'm not giving legal advice here. I'm just letting you know what I would do given the research that I've done. What I have seen work and what I have seen not work. So she went on to describe what came next. And this is why you must be the first line of defense for your children, because what comes next is terrifying. The investigator found nothing amiss in the home. Nothing. But she continues. She insisted on questioning the oldest child all of 5 years behind closed doors in a bedroom without Curry's consent. No, 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 absolutely not. This is my 14th Amendment right. You're not going to get in between my parent-child relationship. Now, there's two schools of thought here, and I'm going to share them with you so you can decide what to do should you find yourself in this situation. Some people say that once they are in the home, that you do your best to comply because you've already given up your Fourth Amendment right. You do your best to comply, get through it, and then call an attorney. Some people say, absolutely not. Hold to your 14th Amendment right and say you absolutely may not question my child away from me. But they are in your home and they kind of have you at that point, so I don't even know yet what I would do in that situation. But those are the two ideas. So now she's letting her children be questioned away from her. The investigator reappeared. She questioned Curry about her home life. Curry answered fully, the lawsuit said, worried that any refusal would add to her peril. And that's exactly what every parent that I hear from says. They're afraid if they don't comply, it will go worse for them. But you have to understand, I just recently learned this, police can actually lie to you. It's called a ruse. They can lie to you. So they can say, if you don't let us in, we're going to come in by force and take all your children to get you to comply with what they want. You can't lie to them, but they can lie to you. The investigator insisted on taking the youngest child from Curry's lap without permission, began to undress her. In the presence of the male deputy, the investigator proceeded to undress each child, male and female, down to the genitals, removing diapers of the youngest two. The last to be undressed was her 4-year-old son, taught by his pediatrician that he should never let a stranger take off his clothes without his mom's okay. We've all taught this to our children, haven't we? But when the boy tried to make eye contact with Curry, the investigator stood directly in his line of sight, leaving him helpless. They're undressing him. He's looking to mommy for assurance, and he's been denied that assurance because the deputy gets in his line of sight to be able to see his mommy. The investigator pointed to the deputy and said, "Show that cop your muscles." The little boy removed his shirt and flexed his biceps as ordered. The investigator and deputy began laughing while the investigator started to pull down his pants. When the little boy finally was able to look back at his mother, she was holding back tears. The little boy's face registered shame and fear. Now, what has this little boy done to be accosted in this way? These systematic nude examinations by non-medical personnel, all without Curry's consent, yielded nothing in the way of evidence. No scrapes and no bruises. Now, I consider that lucky. I have 4 children myself. If I had all of them without any scrapes or bruises from jumping on the trampoline and riding their bikes and falling down, I mean, that's amazing. Children fall down and get bruises, but I have heard and seen children be removed for bruises and scrapes. So thank goodness that these children didn't have any that day. Maybe it was the winter and they're all inside like my children in the winter. I don't know, but this is unacceptable. Curry told us the experience left a mark on our whole family and we felt violated because they were violated. Their whole family was absolutely violated. Their children were violated. Now, what have these children learned? We're not safe in our own home. My mommy and daddy can't protect me. These are fundamental beliefs that every child needs to have about their home life. That mommy and daddy can protect me from anything and that my home is a safe place. They have been robbed of that belief system. You have to be the first line of defense for your children. No doubt. Now they are suing. I'm happy to hear that, and they must and they should. And the Homeschool Legal Defense Association is representing the family, which is awesome. If you're a homeschooler, please look into that organization. And other than that, be armed with your rights. Do not let them in. You are the first line of defense for your children. If they don't have a warrant, let them know they need to get off of your property. They are trespassing. Your children are happy, healthy, and well, and ask them to leave. If you feel they might come back, that might be the time to call an attorney. I would call an attorney, and I'd be ready. And when they came back, I would say, here's my attorney's phone number. You can call him. You can deal with him, but you're not coming into my house.